We are here at FIBA House. So fortunate to be able to talk to the one, the only, Mr. Grant Hill. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, the one and only Rachel Nichols, for coming out here to the FIBA House.
For you, you have been planning this and thinking about this and waking up in the middle of the night about this for years to be now on the brink of a medal. What does that feel like?
It feels surreal. There's a lot that goes into this. Obviously, we've been together as a group since July 5th in Las Vegas. But there was a whole year, multiple years of planning, of learning, of growing, of recruiting, of just a lot that goes into this. And so all that's happened since July 5th, the guys are just incredibly focused. They're locked in. They're ready. They know the time is now, and they're chasing a goal. They're also chasing history, I think. These guys are great players. These guys are students of the game. I think they respect the game. They want to be remembered, I think, as the greatest U.S. men's national team. And there's been some great ones that have...
I was going to say, that's a very high bar you're setting right now.
Well, I'm not saying I
know that they're...
I just want a gold medal. I don't care where the team is ranked, but I just think there's some pride there, and there's a competitive spirit. And so they know they got to first of all win and get the job done. But I think that's the mentality of these guys, and it's been fun to watch.
It is such a weird position to be in. If you win, everyone's going to say, well, of course they won.
Right.
They're supposed to win. In fact, why didn't you win by more? And if you lose, it's like the world is going to end.
Yes.
What is that like to be in the middle of?
Well, there's pressure, but pressure comes from the legacy of the program, comes from the expectations that we have ourselves. It's win a gold or it's nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of the mindset and the thought process. But these guys, look, everyone, the coaching staff, the players, they all embrace that pressure. Mm-hmm. I think being an NBA superstar in today's world is full of pressure. It's much different than what it was in the previous century when I was in that role.
I can't remember back that far. That's so weird. And yet I was there watching you play. Anyway.
You were just a toddler.
A toddler, exactly. That's exactly how it was.
But it's, they welcome that. They want that. And, but look, this is not ceremonial. It's tough. We have to make tough decisions. We also have to, like the players and coaches, lock in. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot out there. But we're a group. We've gone through this journey together. We've gone through some ups and downs. And it ties you together, it strengthens you, and it prepares you for this moment that we're about to incur.
Well, you have such a unique perspective on it because you were part of the 96 team that it's not like, oh, the dream team is a tough act to follow. You actually had to follow that act. It's not metaphorical at that point. What did you take from that experience that you can relate to now?
Well, just the experience itself. Being at the Olympics, representing your country, wearing that jersey, there was a little bit of different pressure back then. There was never any doubt that we could lose.
Right.
And so, we were here in terms of basketball in the U.S., and the rest of the world was still here. Mm-hmm. And since that time, you've seen, you see players now in the NBA, won MVPs, they're international players. 30% of the NBA are international players. And these countries now don't fear us like they feared us in 96. So, look, a lot has changed since then. But still, one of the highlights of my career, and I was the youngest guy on the team, and to play with all these legends, to learn from them, and to be bonded with them, as a result of that experience was certainly special.
And now on this team, I think the idea of seeing especially Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and LeBron James play together is so reminiscent of what we saw on the Dream Team or on your team, of these just legends of the game who are in real time playing with each other. I'm curious, when you've seen them interact with each other, there's a time where LeBron and Steph, it was not fake hate. They were making fun of each other behind each other's backs. There was a Halloween party with the cookies everyone remembers. There was, this locker room smells like champagne. We've had a lot over the years between them, and now it's like they're best buddies. What has it been like for you to watch that interaction?
It's been great. And I've followed the relationship dynamics, the competitiveness that's necessary to be at their level that they've been at for over a decade. So I've watched that unfold. And But to see all of these guys, especially those two, they're almost giddy, like just excited to be on the court. But not just that, just the bus rides, the time together in the hotel, the film sessions, eating together, just, being teammates. Mm-hmm. Whoever would have thought that these two guys would get a chance to play together? And then you throw Kevin Durant in there as well. Three of the guys who've really been the face of the league during this era. So it is history. Like watching them, and it's similar. It reminds me a little bit of Magic and Bird.
Right.
There was a competitive, rivalry between them, and I'm sure at times they didn't like one another. But you saw at that point when they played with the Dream Team in '92, just how much they enjoyed finally being on the same team. And they threw that guy named Nichol in there as well.
Some dude. It's like KD, some dude.
Some dude.
Right, right. I know that you and Steph have been friends for a long time, golfing buddies for a long time. I heard that on this particular trip, there was a golfing incident with you and Steph. Can you please tell me what happened in Abu Dhabi? Because I understand that it was hot and you almost didn't make it through the round.
Yes, the incident wasn't I beat Steph at golf. No, Steph is an incredible golfer. Mm-hmm. But we played in Abu Dhabi.
I'm sorry, did you just say that you beat him?
No, I said I won't say that it was because I beat him.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
Sorry. No, I did not beat him.
Okay, just checking.
But no, it was clearly he and I are obsessed with golf because we went out there in this incredibly hot and humid weather and played golf.
What was the temperature around you?
Think of like if Las Vegas and the summer of Orlando had a baby. Okay. And that's what it was. Because, Abu Dhabi, which was great, and we had a wonderful time there, but it's on the Persian Gulf. Yes. So it's incredibly humid. And so we're the only people out there golfing. And so anyway, I played 4 times when I was there. But one time after the 4th hole, I had to quit. Like I was just too hot. It was too hot. I was sweating. It was miserable. Wasn't playing well. So I
heard with Steph, they had to bring you a new shirt.
Oh yeah, no, that happened too. Yeah, literally, we had to change shirts. I had to change my shirt at the turn because it was just it was so drenched that it was heavy. And it affected that was my excuse. Yeah, there you go. That was it.
I just love that you have 2 of the greatest basketball players ever, Hall of Famers out there, and they can barely make it through a round of golf and need new clothes in the middle of it because you guys were, I'm sorry, dumb enough to go out in the...
Who knew that golf was that hard?
With LeBron, I know you've known him a long time too. Everybody who's been around this group this year has said, you hear about the work ethic, but you see it, you see the way he wants to be involved. Beyond that stuff, though, that we all kind of expected just because of what he's done in the past, has there been a personal exchange between the two of you or anything that you've noticed that he's been like, oh, wow, that really had an impact on you?
So, I've obviously known LeBron, but I wouldn't say that we were close. Right. And, I played at a different era. And if you didn't play with somebody, you didn't really know them. And so we spoke in passing and there was a mutual respect. But from the time that he and I connected on the phone, after the World Cup last summer, he's been absolutely incredible. He's been responsive. He's been engaging. He's had some good ideas. Just really cultivating a little bit more of a relationship with him over the last year. And then once we met July 5th, first of all, he came in at 39 and a half in the best shape. I mean, he was flying around. Funny story, first day practice, we're scripting a lot of the offense. We're not going live. And he might have dunked the ball 20 times in practice. And just like dunking hard, going hard. So the next day at breakfast, I went up to him and I said, LeBron, when I was 39 and a half and I played in the league, I knew I only had 20 good jumps for the whole season. Right. And I didn't waste them in practice. And you did 20 good jumps yesterday, but no, he has been professional.
Did he look at you sadly? And
he laughed. No, he laughed.
Say, oh, poor Grant.
No, yeah.
I've got 1,000 good jumps in me.
Yes, no, he does. He does. But his consistency, he's always on time. He's always the first one there. He's in the weight room every day. The professionalism and then the leadership. It's just like he's a leader. He's a great voice. He's a connector. He's a glue guy. Yeah. And so we all have watched and admired his talents on the court. Mm-hmm. But for the last month or so, I've watched and admired just how he leads a team. And it's been impressive.
There was obviously a lot of controversy over the makeup of this roster, especially after Kawhi dropped out. You and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
For you, though, I just wanted to know, you're someone who has always prided yourself on doing the right thing the right way.
Right.
Jaylen Brown is someone who has always prided himself on doing the right thing. You two have that in common about actually caring about doing it right, not just winning.
Right.
To have been in this back and forth with him, to have him question your integrity, to have to kind of say back things to someone who I'm sure you admire and respect.
Right.
What has that been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a learning. Look, first of all, when you have a team with the profile of players on this team, you know there's going to be controversy.
Yeah.
And so you know that coming in, and I knew that. I think what people fail to realize is I'm a fan of basketball, and I'm a fan of these guys that are playing in the current era. I'm not one of these guys that says, well, my era, we did this.
Yeah.
Even in media, my whole approach is to celebrate the greatness of today's players. And it should be better. The game should evolve. If it didn't, then, those of us that came before failed. So yeah, I mean, it was disappointing. But I mean, look, you got to do your job. You got to do the job your best you can. I've tried to do this the right way. When we first put out the roster back in April, before it was announced, I called certain guys.
Yeah.
I called Paul George. I called Damian Lillard. I called Jaylen Brown. I felt like they were of a certain stature where they deserved to hear it before it was made public. And I appreciated their willingness to want to be a part of this, but also wanted them to appreciate just how difficult this was. But to me, that was leading with integrity, doing the right thing, recognizing who they are, what they've meant to USA basketball in years past. And so it's a lot of noise. Like, I'm confident he and I will sit down at some point and talk about it and get to some level of understanding. And, look, he'll be a candidate if he wants in 28, and
You still feel that way? You'd welcome him on the team?
Oh, yeah. No, look, one thing I've learned is you can't take anything personal, in this role. And so I haven't personalized anything. My goal, my objective is to win. And then, as soon as hopefully that happens, we pivot and start looking ahead to the future.
Well, hopefully you'll have a gold medal in your pocket when you're making that decision from this year.
I hope so.
Good luck with everything, Grant. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Rachel.